Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today we're talking about maybe a touchy topic. I don't know, but fix my employee. That sounds like we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, with a very special guest, Molly McGrath. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to dive into this topic today.
So, are my employees broken? Why are we fixing our employees? I think this is just a fascinating topic.
It's interesting. As you can see from my latest book that I launched, it's called Fix My Boss, right? The working title was called Fix My Employees. For 28 years in coaching and consulting, I will get phone calls, emails, DM that will say, how do I fix my employees? Can you fix my employees? And that's the biggest challenge of any entrepreneur, whether it be startup, solo, mid-size, even big corporations. I will constantly hear from entrepreneurs, business would be great, but for the employees. Because most entrepreneurs are not trained on how to manage, lead, and empower their team members. Definitely not on how to retain them. I always say to entrepreneurs, they're like, I need to get better at leadership management. I'm like, well, if that was your goal, you'd go apply for a job as a general manager at Chili's. You're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary. Your goal is not to get better at managing and fixing and empowering your team. It's really to get better at hiring in the first place and really understanding the powerful questions to ask before you hire people, because most people hire out of pain. They wait too long to hire. They feel the soul crush of lack of delegation, everybody delegating back up to them. And by the time they hire, they get seduced by the first person who shows up energetic.
This is so funny. I'm sorry. It's just, I've seen this over and over. I've been through this process myself with past businesses. And I know it's one of the hardest challenges to crack in business, in small business, especially. So I think the title of your book, Fix My Boss, is interesting because I would imagine when people send you a message or a DM and they say, I want to fix my employee, do you just send them back like an emoji of a mirror or something? And say, maybe look at yourself first. Is that what you're implying with that?
Yeah, that was the working title of my book. And after a while, my publisher, when we were beginning with the end of mine and hearing, so often I'll hear from employees, oh, my boss goes to all these coaching and mastermind and conferences, and they come back with all these business books and throw them on my desk. And it lands like, implement this because you need to be fixed. And I really wanted to have a title that would stop the attention of both the employee and the entrepreneur, right? So the boss is running through the airport and they're like, whoa, 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 what's this chick going to teach my employees? I need to open it up and figure out what I need to be ready and prepared for. And then an employee will pick up the book and say, yes, finally, somebody gets me. Somebody has my back. But at the end of the day, I'm getting them both on the same playing field and giving them a framework and a language of how to lock arms and work together. And it's really not an either or, but it's an and problem. And the solution is the same.
I love it. Well, let's dive in. What are we talking about here in terms of, we don't have time to cover the whole book, I'm sure, but
Sure.
Training and how to get people on the same page. I love how you say that because it's when you come at it from either side, it's adversarial, right? It's they're the problem. How do we make sure that we're both on the same page, and where do you start with people?
Yeah. So like I said, it starts with the hiring, really asking the deeply curious questions in regard. So often I'll say to entrepreneurs, I have a recruiting side of my business. Can you give me a job description for this position? And 100% of the time they send me a job ad, not a job description. Or they'll send me a job description that they got out of ChatGPT or from some of their colleagues or what have you. And when I walk through the job description in motion, you have to think of it like an active work plan. They're like, well, no, they don't really have to do that. I have someone else for that. Or no, that's not really what I need them to do. And people are not really taking a job description and putting it in action and motion in a daily time template. So that's number one, is really getting clear. If you don't have a job description and you hire right and you have the conversation about all the pain points that you have where you're feeling like you're wearing too many hats, the right person will take copious notes. They will ask powerful questions and they will show you the math on how they did this for somebody else. My CEO that I hired 7 years ago became my CEO because I wrote a job ad on Indeed that literally said this: I am a visionary and a stressed out entrepreneur. I have more business than I can handle. I have zero SOPs, zero processes, and my email box is a dumpster fire. Are you the person that can solve this problem? I had to shut the ad down after 20 minutes because I had 48 applicants within that process. So people came to me and said, let me show you exactly how I did that for my previous entrepreneur and how I took them from here and scaled them up to there. So you want somebody that can show you the math. You don't have to come with a perfectly packaged job description, time template, KPIs, all that jazz. The right person will say, take the junk drawer, dump it out, put it on my desk, and I will come back to you and give it in a very methodical, strategic plan. So it's number one, is an entrepreneur putting too much pressure on themselves to have everything beautifully packaged before they place an ad, before they interview, before they hire and onboard, and then coming into this massive project that by the time you hire, it is so out of hand that you're just hiring the first person, that you're not really interviewing accurately. The second problem comes to training and onboard, which goes hand in hand with that hiring process. Having daily stand-up meetings, and you alluded to this earlier, is the easiest way to train and onboard. Person has a job description and or they have the junk drawer of all the things that you need to delegate to them. And every single day you do like a military stand-up meeting. I call it a daily huddle, where your new employee is running the day for you. They're looking at your calendar, they're looking at your inbox, they're looking at all your opportunities. And you, as a business owner, as a boss, as a visionary, as an entrepreneur, are coming there to just provide direction or redirection, to just clarify and verify questions. Because when you hire right, people come to you with proposed solutions, not buckets of problems. So they'll come to you and say to you, boss, here we're at right now. You're double booked on this day. We don't have enough leads coming in. Where are you at? You had 5 sales meetings yesterday. I have 0 engagement agreements in my inbox. What's going on? Did you not close a deal? Did you not follow process? And then they'll consistently come to you with process improvement ideas.
I love this. I want to go back to step one. You touched on the job description, and I'm just curious, if you were to have written that in what we normally think and see as job description, it's really a list of tasks that person is going to perform. Do you think your CEO, the one you actually hired, would have even applied to that description?
If it would have been traditional.
If it was traditional, yeah.
No, because definitely, I don't think so, because for a few things. Number one, it would be completely rogue and not very inspiring and empowering. People are really excited to lock arms with a visionary, with a small business owner, with an entrepreneur. And when what I heard from the candidates, and I use that ad all the time for my clients too, that are in the same boat, the vulnerability on it's chaos over here, but we are going to, I need your help so we can really scale and grow this thing. The ability to just show your creativity, all of the human traits that will demonstrate what type of leader you are, that you trust somebody the biggest, what's the first dysfunction in the 5 dysfunctions of a team? Lack of trust. So you are already communicating that you want somebody, you trust them enough to come in and really get your business organized. You want their ideation, you want their creativity, you want them to bring different processes and production improvement strategies that they've used in the past. And at the end of the day, you're hiring human beings first and foremost versus human doings. And what do human beings want? They want to know their voice matters. They want to know, if they're professional and they're a rock star, that there is a place for their ideation and for their process improvement, and for them to share what they've done in the past that has worked, and it won't get shot down. And there's not a mindset of, I'm the boss, you're the employee, you're lucky to have a job, put your head down, do what you're told, be quiet. And if you do all that, you'll be rewarded with a paycheck. Nobody wants to sign up for that anymore.
That doesn't inspire people. I thought that works.
Not with the unemployment of, roughly around, in professionals, administratives, kind of director of operations, unemployment rate is 0.43%. Doesn't inspire them. Receptionists, forget it. They're not inspired by that at all anymore.
Yeah. Talk to me about the difference in hiring those two different ways too. I'm not sure if you've ever analyzed this, but my mind went right to the long-term employee, how long they actually stay with the company, because you said your CEO's with you, I think you said 7 years. I have a client who, they weren't a client when this happened, disclaimer, but they had hired somebody. And the first thing that she told me when I'm interviewing to see how we're going to go in and be their fractional COO was, I was hired for one thing. I was hired under a job description. I do none of those things, and none of that is in place. And my worry was, well, she may leave the organization. Have you seen side by side, when you hire honestly, like you're talking about, versus the traditional sort of, vanilla job description? Do employees tend to stay longer? And if so, about how much longer?
Brandon, I love this question, because I would offer this question to your listeners. Go back and maybe pull your employees or people that you've worked with, or even think of yourself if you had a position in the past, or maybe you're in a C-suite position. How many of us are actually operating 80% on the job description we were handed on the day we were hired? I don't have stats, but I can't tell you, when I'm interviewing people on the recruiting side, I'm like, tell me why you're talking to a recruiter today. Tell me why you're looking for a new opportunity. And when I really peel away the layers of the onions, and this is another way to really get behind your employees and fix your employees, is the lack of communication within the firm. We're hired, we're thrown in a corner with the job descriptions and duty, and everybody's too busy to talk. There's no weekly stakeholders meeting. There's no weekly daily huddle. There's no process for consistent communication. The other thing I hear from them is, I have no idea I was given this job description when I was hired. Still have no idea if I'm missing the mark, I'm hitting it out of the park, or I'm in the toilet with my goals, my roles, what have you. So I think, once again, people that you have the vulnerability, you have the honesty. Now, there's a big disclaimer to this. There are certain positions, especially I work with a lot of law firms. There are some specifics. You have to be licensed in a certain state of law. You have to have experience in litigation if you're doing litigation or transactional work. So there are some things that would be in there that you would want to make certain that you would hit for. But by and large, other than very specific skill set and knowledge and experience, no, people would rather allow to be part of a creation of their job description. So here it is, high level. Here's what we believe in it. And it's typically, here are the pain points, here are the bottlenecks, and here's where so-and-so is wearing too many hats, and it's time to delegate and elevate. So when it comes from that place, people love in the interviews where you're like, this is a framework for what we believe the job description is. Maybe there was a person there prior that was doing it, and they either self-selected off the bus or got voted off the bus, whatever the story is. When you have that vulnerability and you have that openness and approachability, and you say, this was a job description, Susie Q's no longer here. here's the reason, especially if they were terminated, and you say, we're not sure if this is a precise job description. So here's the thing we're going to do during your onboarding process. Another tip I would give to fixing your employees, either existing people where you're like, I'm not sure, 50-50 shot if they're going to make it or break it or what have you, or as you're hiring, or maybe you have a rock star and you're like, let's really streamline our systems and processes, is to let them be part of that creation. So during your onboarding, here's your job description. Want you to track and touch everything that you do for a week and what have you. And let's put it in departments and compartments, and then put it into your daily and weekly and monthly time template and time chunking to see if this is accurate. And then I want you to start to track the gotta minutes and the distractions and where they're at. And I want you to track them from place of R&D, because we can't make informed business decisions on what's broken in our people, process, or production, which impacts profitability. So actually, as a new employee, I'm going to bring you on as a production cop and a quality control cop. I want you to be deeply curious. I don't want you to be a yes chick and say yes to everything. I want to figure out, this is being dumped on my desk, this is being delegated to me, this is being asked of me, or I'm being voluntold to do this. I want you to track what step in the process, what department, how long it will take for you. And then we're going to keep circling back once a week. And within 30, 60 days, we will know exactly what the right job description is for this position. Maybe you're wearing two hats, and that's okay, but let's be really clear, the line of delineation between client service coordinator and marketing coordinator, or it's a COO, but then you're also doing intake or whatever it might be. And at the time, we'll start tracking it. Then we'll know when we have enough capital work leads to be able to hire your replacement.
That's fantastic. That was worth the price of this episode. So for those of you who paid for this, which is none of you, go back and re-listen to that, because that right there was absolute gold. Molly, thank you so much for this. I want to toss up on the screen here the link to, this is a link to your book, right?
Fixmyboss.com. Yes. Fixmybossbook.com.
Awesome. We talked about that earlier in the show. So if you want to go grab a copy, it's on the screen. It's down below in the show notes. I do want to ask you one final question. You may have watched this podcast before, because I always love to end with powerful questions. And you have said that multiple times throughout this interview, that you actually use those powerful questions in interviews of prospective employees. So can you give us an example of just a couple that we can think about as business owners and entrepreneurs when we're going into our next round of hiring?
Yes. So first question, when you're in the interview, of asking them, I would say in regards to when you are not getting what you need, and me as an entrepreneur or your boss is a bottleneck, and we might be behind due dates, deadlines, or what have you, show me in your past, or tell me in your past what you did to get what you need to accomplish a goal for our clients, and then be quiet. The second question I would ask for them, and this is something that I have everybody debrief within their daily huddles, their training, their onboarding, or what have you. What are you not seeing? So in the interviewing process, what are you not seeing in your current role that you really wish you could see more of? And then be quiet. So they're going to tell you ideally about training opportunities, communication, lack of using technology, processes. Those are the things that you want to look for. Not that, oh, we don't have enough paid days off. That's not a good answer that you want to hear, which I have heard from people. So that's a question that you can consistently ask your team. Is there anything that you're not seeing to be able to manage your job description, manage your daily duties, so you feel like a rock star and you're set up for success? Is there anything that you're not seeing from me or getting from the team or your employer in regards to time, technology, training, and feedback that you would like to see more of to know that you are a difference maker in this business?
Those are fantastic, fantastic questions. Molly, thank you so much for being here. Is there anywhere else besides fixmybossbook.com where the listener should go to connect with you, learn more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Easiest ways, go to our website, hiringandempowering.com. We drop a pocket coaching very similar to these tips every Thursday, drop podcasts on Tuesday, and drop a value bomb blog every Thursday. So tremendous amount of value creation and tips and techniques that you could implement in real time.
I love it. Awesome. All of that, wherever you're watching or listening, is in the show notes down below. Molly, thank you again for being here. And for those of you watching and listening, make sure you subscribe. We want to bring you these episodes every single day of the week because we want to have some value bombs too. Molly's not the only one that gets to deliver value bombs. I love that term. So make sure you subscribe. We'll see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch.
Thank you.